and welcome to another episode of Chefs and Showhomes. I'm your host, Kristen Reed, and today we are in Gilroy Show Suite in the Harbour Pointe condominiums in Harbour Landing. I'm also lucky enough to have Leo Pantel from the Conexus Arts Centre join us today and teach us a recipe. So thanks for being on the show, Leo.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And so can you tell us a little bit more about your role as the executive head chef at the Conexus Arts Centre?
Well, the great thing is it's arts and catering. Saskatchewan's premier arts and catering facility, so I get to do a lot of unique things. And we also deal with a lot of shows that come through the city too, so it's quite interesting.
Yeah, no kidding. So if you've ever been to the Conexus Arts Centre for any events or shows, likely you've tasted one of Leo's treats.
Yeah, so we have an opportunity to do a lot of fundraising dinners and then pre-show dinners too, so it's a lot of variety that works out with looking after our clients.
That's great. And so what are we making today?
Today we have a simple dish, but high quality ingredients. So we're working with aged ribeye. We're going to do dry aged beef.
Okay.
And we have this made to our specifications, and it's a 34-day age minimum. This particular one is over 40-day age. So what that means is it just increases and intensifies the flavor.
Okay.
So it's dry aged at a certain humidity, and it just the flavor is really intense for a meat product. And we're going to caramelize some onions with it and have some accompaniments with it.
Okay, great. So now in the aging process, I'm a little bit of a rookie in this situation. It's just a matter of how it's kept.
That's right, and it's again, humidity is very important. So
Okay.
it's 2 stages of humidity. Starts with a little higher humidity and then less humidity to give a more drier flavor to it.
Okay.
So you can just see the marbling in this beef too is very well throughout it. And again, we're going to trim off some of the darkness on it because it does, aging process dries it quite a bit at the end, but again, it takes the flavor to the next level for sure. And we're just going to trim some of the fat off on this. We want some of that great flavor when we're searing it too. So it doesn't take much, and again, you don't want to cook this to more than medium rare because it can be a bit drier. So we want all that flavor to stay into it, and we're also going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to it. So I'm just using just a rock salt, just preset it before we put it into the fry pan, and of course we got some pepper too.
That's quite the pepper shaker.
Yes.
It's all about the presentation.
Yes. So that'll, again, simple flavors, just adding salt and pepper to it to give it some flavor. And we're going to take that to our preheated cast iron pan, and that'll be able to go in the oven as well. We're going to add some accompaniments to it, but again, the flavor is really intense. It doesn't need much more than just a little bit of salt and pepper.
Okay, and now do you source this locally?
Yes, so it's a Saskatchewan product, and it's aged for us. So they have the space for us, and whenever we need it, we just ask for it, and it comes to us aged at a certain date, and then we are able to use it whenever we're ready for our events.
Okay.
So certainly some special events for this. It's a premium meat product, but again, we do all types of events too. So it's certain fundraising dinners ask for special things, and that's what we work with.
Okay, so this would be more of a high quality fundraiser event type dish?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we're going to add some, I've got some oyster mushrooms, portobello, some onions, and we're going to caramelize those and sear it in our pan.
Okay.
So we've got our dry aged beef cut and ready to be seared. So I'm using extra virgin canola oil. So the good thing about this, it's a Saskatchewan product. It does have a nice high smoke point, and we're just going to want to sear it nicely on both sides, not overdone it, but we don't want to have it too hot, and it'll give it a really nice color. I'm also using a cast iron pan. That way it's oven safe as well, and we'll be able to put that whole pan in the oven when we're finishing off the cooking process.
And so you're cooking this on medium heat, right?
That's right,
Okay.
Medium heat, and it doesn't need a whole lot. And as that's cooking, we're going to add a little bit of flavor too. So I'm going to add a little bit of butter to this dish as well. And what that does is, again, it gives more flavor and really adds to the texture of the beef as well.
Now what's the trick to know how long per side?
Just to give it a caramelization. So all we want to do is sear in some of that flavor.
Okay.
So it doesn't take long, and while that's doing too, then from there, it actually doesn't need any more. We're going to just put some of that nice butter flavor right on top of it. And then that goes in the oven. So it takes about another 15 minutes, and then we're going to rest it after that.
And now what are you baking it at?
So baking it at 300 degrees. I don't want to over sear it, and then it's going to rest for about 15 minutes after that.
Okay.
But while that's cooking, we're also going to do a little caramelized onion and mushroom. So today I've got some onions as well as oyster mushroom. So we're just going to add that, sear that, caramelize it, and that doesn't take long at all too. And we're also going to add a little bit of garlic, can't go wrong with garlic, and our oyster mushrooms.
Great.
And that just takes a few minutes to sear while it's cooking in the oven.
Okay, great. So we're going to let Leo finish searing all of this, and then we're going to head and chat with Ron, and he's going to show us the rest of the development. I'm Kristen Reed, your local realtor and host of Chefs and Showhomes. Discover the finest food and living Regina has to offer as I learn to cook from the chefs behind Regina's best restaurants and explore the design trends from the builders creating the most beautiful new homes in Regina. Elevate your life. Watch Chefs and Showhomes only on Access 7. All right, so our builder representative today from Gilroy is Ron Macdonald. So he's here to show us around and tell us a little bit more about the Harbour Pointe development. So thanks for being here today, Ron, and letting us cook in your kitchen.
It's been a pleasure. I hope you're enjoying the suites that we've got here. Gilroy Homes has been doing home construction in Regina, an area, for 40 years now. Terry is still running the company. He's actually a carpenter. Started the company when he was 25. We've been building this type of condo, the apartment type condo, for probably 10 or 11 years. What we're looking at in this project is where we see a market for the baby boomers, the people that are retiring. They're looking for something 1,1400 square foot that is on the higher end, that they can lock up and go to Phoenix. There's just not a lot of that product being done right now. And once people come and see us, then they feel that they've found maybe their next home.
Yeah, no, that's great. And so now, what stage of development are the buyers getting the properties when they come and see you?
There's two different ways. We've got some suites that are finished. So it depends where the buyer is and what they're comfortable with. Some people want to sell their house before they buy something else, so we can help them out there. The other way is to do all the finishes yourself. So you're picking out the cabinets, etc. That project takes about 2.5 months from start to finish. So what we're talking about is these cabinets are supplied to us by KitchenCraft. Every place that we go, we've got somebody specific that works with Harbour Pointe, knows it very well. This is Val Allen from KitchenCraft. So if you decide, these are actually oak. Oak is making a comeback. If you decide that you want maple, cherry, white, blue, you can do that. If you decide that you want to extend this cabinet out, you can do that. And the system that we have set up with our sub-suppliers is whatever that extra cost is to do that, you just pay them direct. So KitchenCraft on the cabinets. This is granite or quartz. This particular suite, we've got quartz. That's Tom Tabello. Coast Wholesale on the appliances. There's a full set of appliances, so you've got fridge, stove, dishwasher, microwave, washer, dryer, and a carburetor. Another good example is this fridge does have water to the back of it, so it has an ice maker in the bottom. But if you want to add water and ice in the front of the fridge, you're working with Leaf at Coast. So you pick out the upgrade that you want to go to, whatever the cost difference is, you just pay them direct.
Now, is there any way for a buyer to be able to work that into their mortgage?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, okay, so they don't have to pay out of pocket necessarily,
correct.
they can work it into their mortgage
Then they
too.
bill it through us.
Okay, perfect.
Interesting though that the customers that we deal with rarely have a mortgage.
Right, okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, those baby boomers.
Yes, they're fine.
Yeah, they're okay, yeah.
The flooring is by you have two different companies you can choose from. One is GNR flooring. This suite was done by Alford's. Both those companies have an interior designer that will work with you. So you've picked your cabinet color, you've picked your countertop color, now you're working on your flooring color, and they will help you with your paint colors. So it all comes together. Remember, you're going to be here for a long time. It may actually be your last place. Let's personalize it.
And so there's a designer that they work with through that entire process to make sure that everything's cohesive and works together? Okay,
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Light fixtures are from Richardson. Plumbing is Town and Country. Electrical is Town and Country. So it's a personalized suite. Again, 2.5 months from contract time.
That's great. And I love how large this dining room area is too. So if you're having family over for dinner, you're not all on top of each other with this nice open floor plan.
That's right, and they are huge. We've actually got an amenity room that we're going to look at later on.
Right, yeah.
That will seat probably 70 people. So if you're thinking of a reunion or Christmas or something like that, you can book that room, and it'll look after you.
Yeah, so it makes it a little bit easier to part with your large family home when you know that you're not going to be sacrificing so much space.
Sure.
And you can, like you said, just lock up and head down to Phoenix when it gets too cold.
A lot of people have a separate dining room that's only used twice a year.
Right, yeah, exactly. Well, and this large balcony as well that you have out here is great for barbecues. I mean, how many people do you think you could fit out there?
10.
That's pretty sizable for a condo.
It sure is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's
And
great.
then we've got, these are all 2 bedrooms. There are 2 extra bedrooms in the building that you can rent from the condo board. And they're bedrooms. They're a bedroom with a bathroom with a closet. And I think they're charging like $20 a night. So if you don't have a lot of company, don't turn that second bedroom into a bedroom. Use that as an office or a den, or in one case for winemaking. And they have a lot of friends. So it's a good way to go at it.
Yeah, no kidding. And then, so that's nice that they have that option for almost like a hotel for your guests.
Yes.
That's great.
And if they're relatives you don't like, there's a couple of hotels around the corner.
Yeah, exactly. They can go pay full price.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's great storage in these units as well, right?
There is. We've got, in the laundry area, you've got your washer dryer and then a large area of blank space that is designed for shelving. So it depends how much stuff you've got.
Yeah.
Everybody's got too much stuff. And we've also got a cage in the parking.
Oh, good. Well, especially when you're downsizing from a large family home. Like, you can downsize as much as you possibly can, but that's hard to still be able to fit it all into one condo. So knowing that you have extra storage both in the parking garage and in your unit, I think is really beneficial.
It really is. And
Yeah.
there are companies that will, if you have special requirements, we can hook you up with companies that just do that specifically.
Oh, okay. Well, that's really good. So should we go take a look at the rest of the building then?
Sure, let's do that.
Okay. So this is what it would look like when a buyer is first coming to choose their finishes, is that right?
Yes, it is. This one is one of the 1425 square foot suites. So we take it to the drywall stage. They actually look smaller when they're in drywall stage than when they're finished. They also look a little dirty, but the benefits are you can pick out your cabinets, your flooring, your paint colors, your light fixtures. This just gives you a pretty good idea too, the 9-foot ceilings, the tall windows, big deck, tempered glass out there. It's just a fun project to be around.
And now, are the 9-foot ceilings on every level?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And so now this one is sunset, correct?
Sunset.
Okay.
So we've got suites in this building on Sunset on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floor. Sunrise, we've got 1 left on the 4th floor, three left on 3rd floor, and 2 left on the 2nd floor.
Oh wow, so everyone really likes that morning sun.
Yeah.
I personally like the sunset.
So do I.
Not up that early.
No.
But here you're actually going to have a really nice view too, so you're going to have a little bit of a green space in between the buildings, is that right?
We're actually putting 83 feet between buildings, which is unheard of. The minimum that we can do is 8 foot.
Oh.
So we could have probably put another couple of buildings on this piece of property
Yeah.
if we would have designed it that way.
Right, but then obviously people want that space, they don't feel so closed in. So even though that there's a building right behind you, it's not right behind you. You're not waving to your neighbors in the morning.
Yeah. Nobody's lighting your barbecue for you.
Yeah, no, well, this is great. All right, so should we check out the rest of the building
Sure,
then?
let's do
Okay,
that.
awesome. So this is quite the common area. I know you had mentioned it before, but seeing it in person, it's actually quite huge.
It is. It's big. It's probably seat of 40. I don't know what standing room only would be. It's got the full kitchen, full bath. Behind the camera are 2 French doors that go out to a large, large patio with natural gas for the barbecue. It's something that if you have 2 or 3 family events per year, it's ideal. It really is. This is our thinking. Again, it's your forever home. So let's give you everything that you really need. We're also looking out onto the green space behind the building. Again, it's about 83 feet.
And southwest facing, so you'll get lots of
where
light
we're
back
sitting
there.
right here,
Yeah.
yes. And it's got a fence between us and the park. There's a gate in that fence, walking path to that gate, through the gate, and you're into a complex of 102 acres.
Okay.
So it's fabulous, and Harbour Landing's parks they're just looked after so well.
Yeah, and the paths run all the way through.
They do.
Yeah.
And on the other side of the building, we've got Grasslands, which of course is the newest shopping center in the city. Huge. How many Tim Hortons do you need? How many McDonald's do you need?
All of them, yeah. Well, really, that Grasslands does have everything you do need, though. I
Yes.
mean, if you need to run out to Walmart or the dollar store.
Winners.
Winners.
What's Winners? HomeSense. That's one.
HomeSense, yeah. Cabela's if you're a hunter or a
Bed
fisher.
Bath and Beyond.
Bed Bath. Decorate your new suite.
Yes, a lot of shopping done in there.
Yeah, exactly. No, and the restaurants too. There's a couple restaurants in there.
There's a bunch.
Yeah.
Lancaster's is there. Mr. Mike's is there. Canadian Brew House. 3 or 4 pizza place.
There's a yoga studio, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And tea.
And tea.
You'd know about that.
Yeah.
There's 2 or 3 tea places
There you go. So really all you need in this development, which is great. So you don't have to go very far at all. Just go for a nice little walk, go and grab some tea, go shopping.
The other thing that's going on too is that the folks that are buying here are just a good bunch of people. They really are. I wish I could upcharge for that somehow, but I can't. But they're getting together once a month or once every month and a half. And it's one of those projects where you sign up for it. If you don't want to go, you're not that type of person, nobody's going to say anything to you. But if you are, and you like playing poker and maybe drinking a little wine, it could be the place for you.
That's really good. So you have a nice social element to the building
If you
as well.
want to be part of it.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And now tell me a little bit more about the amenities themselves, the building amenities.
We've got this room, plus just down the hall is an exercise room. Around the corner from the hall is a boardroom. We've got those 2 guest suites on floors number 2 and 3. Then on that same square footage above it, on floor number 4, is what I refer to as a homeowner's be by yourself area.
Okay.
So it's big enough that you can meet people for coffee in the morning. It's also got double doors going out onto the balcony.
So another common area?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's
Not
great.
huge, but really nice.
Yeah, instead of this one where it's too big and you might run into some other people, you can
Yeah.
just have a more private conversation up there?
Yes.
Okay. And then the underground parking?
Underground parking. So your suite comes with a parking spot and a storage cage.
Okay.
And they're big. They're wide and they're long backup, which is what I like. I just have issues these days backing up that car of mine. So we've got that. We've got Canada Post delivering here, and we've got security on the front door. That security can go to your landline, or if time has come to dump that landline, you can have it go to your cell phone. So your cell phone buzzes when somebody wants to come and see you.
That's pretty handy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Neat.
And then they can go right into the elevator
Yep.
and up.
Elevator and up.
So that's really nice. So you don't have to use the stairs here. So having that elevator and the underground parking really saves you from all of the elements when you're carrying all those groceries in, or just for the ease of getting in and out.
Yes.
Yeah. This sounds like an incredible development for those baby boomers, like you mentioned, downsizing, wanting to have that community and just the ease of living in the city. So thank you so much for showing us around. We'll catch you upstairs so we can try some of Leo's delicious meal that he's cooking us right now. Regina is full of flavor and style. I'm Kristen Reed, your local realtor and host of Chefs and Showhomes. Get to know this amazing community through the eyes of the most talented local chefs and creative home builders. Discover the finest food and living Regina has to offer. Elevate your life, only on Access 7.
So we've let it rest for about 15 minutes, just in a warm place. And again, it's a dry aged ribeye. It's got some incredible flavor to it. And we're just gonna put some of that flavorful butter and juices that are on it.
Looks delicious.
Keep some of those flavors in there. It's really got good flavors. Add our caramelized onions and mushrooms. And again, it's just simple but local, local and wonderful flavors. These mushrooms are from Stellar Gourmet Mushrooms. And we're just gonna add a little bit of, just garnish to your plate. And I've also got some crispy leeks as well.
I'm sorry, what were those?
Just diced peppers, and these are crispy leeks. So just give a little crispness to it as well. And you can accompany it with any type of starch you want, homemade potatoes or flavored potatoes and roasted vegetables or anything like that. That'll really enhance the flavor to it. And it really gives you a nice flavor.
Great. You got a little mushroom there.
Yeah. So again, very simple, but intense flavors. And again, the secret to dry aging is the length of age, intensified flavors, and let it rest. You don't want to cut it when it's still warm because all the juices will flow out. It'll be a dry piece of meat.
Okay, great. So we'll let this sit for about 5 or 6 minutes and then Ron and I can dig in?
You can dig in anytime. It's already rested, so.
Oh, fantastic. Great. Well, thank you so much for being here today and telling us a little bit more about the Conexus and cooking for us.
It's been a pleasure, and thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks. Before we dig in, I just want to finalize a little bit of our conversation that we've gone and seen the rest of the building now. So if people wanted to get into this development, do they contact you, and how do they get everything started?
The easiest way to do it is to come and see us. We're here 2 to 4 every day except Friday. There's going to be 4 buildings here. We're currently halfway through the second one. So what we suggest to people is come and spend a bit of time with us just to see whether this development is something that you want to live in for the rest of your life. Then you go home, you have big thinks, probably a glass of wine, red, white, maybe some whiskey.
All of it.
And then probably another phone call you should make is to Kristen, because you need to know what your existing home is worth on the market, and you need a real number on that. And you need to know how long it's going to take to sell. Then you start a list that says, ask Ron this. You come back and see us. Now we're getting into specifics. What size of condo do you want? The 1336 square foot or the 1425 square foot? Do you want sunset or sunrise? Do you want second floor, third floor, fourth floor? Then we get specific pricing on that. We go down the road from there.
Well, that's really good information. Perfect. Well, thank you guys for joining us, and thank you for having us. And I'll let you be the first one to dig into this delicious meal that Leo from Conexus Arts Centre prepared for us today.